That winter, when I was in 5th grade, the world turned all white with snow. Our classroom was cozy. But one day, the principal brought in a new girl named Maya. She seemed shy and wore old clothes. Our teacher, Miss Albert, asked us to welcome her, but most of us stayed quiet. Maya sat next to me, smiled, but I moved away. My best friends were Kendra and Sophie. We whispered secrets and giggled together. Maya tried to join us once with her toys, but we said no. As days passed, we whispered and laughed about Maya's old clothes and strange toys. We didn't want to play with her. As spring arrived, Maya wore a pretty dress, but it looked like someone else's. We called her Never Knew and laughed again. One day, she jumped rope alone, not looking at us. This time, she didn't ask us if we wanted to play with her. She jumped and jumped and jumped until we went back inside. Then one day, Maya didn't come to school. In class that morning, we talked about kindness. Miss Albert placed a big bowl on her desk and filled it with water. We all gathered around and watched her drop a small stone into it. Tiny waves spread out from the stone.
This is what kindness is like. Every little act we do sends ripples into the world.
Then, Miss Albert let each of us drop a stone in while sharing our kind deeds. Joseph had helped his grandmother. Kendra changed her baby brother's diaper. And even Andrew, the bully, had done something nice by carrying the teacher's books upstairs. I stood there, holding Miss Albert's rock, but I couldn't think of anything to share. I passed the stone on. Maya didn't come to school the next day or the day after that. Every morning, I walked to school slowly, hoping today would be the day Maya returned and smiled at me. I promised myself this would be the day I smiled back. Each kindness, Mrs. Albert had said, makes the whole world a little bit better. But Maya never came back to school. Miss Albert told us she had to move away. I walked home alone, thinking of the smiles I never shared, the kindness I never gave. I threw stones into the pond, watching the ripples. It was like the chances of being kind to Maya were gone forever. That day, as I walked home alone from school, I noticed a boy standing on the corner, looking lost and confused. Hey, are you okay?
I think I'm lost. I can't find my way home.
I thought about what Miss Albert had taught us about kindness, so I decided to help. You know what? You can come with me to my house, and we'll figure it out from there.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
He followed me, and as we walked, we started chatting. I'm Hope, by the way.
I'm Jake. Nice to meet you, Hope.
He looked poor, and I thought my wealthy family would be thrilled to help someone in need. Well, not exactly. Jake and I entered the house while my parents were in the middle of an argument. They stopped immediately when they saw us.
Hope, who is this?
So, remember when I said I wanted to start being kind? Well, I found this boy who seemed lost, and I thought we could help him find his way home.
Are you out of your mind? What if he's a serial killer or someone dangerous?
He's 12, Mom, and since you're overreacting, I'll take him to my room. Come on, Jake, let's go. I took his hand and led him upstairs to my bedroom. Mom was such a narcissist. Even though I was young, I could see right through her. Like this one time when I was 6, I was excited for Take Your Child to Work Day. I thought Mom would show me off at her big office, but nope. She was too busy shining like a star with her work friends. I tried to keep up with her, but she didn't even look at me. It was like I was invisible. Then at lunch, while I was alone munching on a cheese sandwich, I overheard her. Her boss said she was great at her job, and she told him kids would just get in my way. Ouch, that stung. I was sitting right there, and she acted like I didn't exist. It hit me hard. To Mom, her job was everything, and me, I just didn't fit into her perfect picture. And from that day on, I didn't look at her the same way. If she wasn't gonna act like my mom, I wasn't gonna treat her like one. But in my bedroom, Jake had a point.
Not to be rude, but aren't you being a bit mean to your mom, even though you're trying to be kinder?
Well, zip it, or I'll beat you in the next game. Now, pass me the PlayStation controller. Game on! And just like that, Jake and I hit it off. He was new in town and didn't have much. That's why he was lost that day. Mom didn't like us hanging out, but I didn't let that bother me. Life was more fun with Jake, and I felt like I was really becoming nicer. A few weeks later, I asked Dad if Jake could join my private school. Dad always called me his little princess and would do anything for me. So, he said yes. Well, my best friends Kendra and Sophie hadn't changed one bit. They were still pretty mean. I kept Jake a secret from them for the last few months. Jake and I agreed to act like strangers at school until I figured things out and felt brave enough to be his friend openly. The day Jake started at school, Kendra and Sophie surprised me.
Look at that hottie over there. He looks poor, but God, I'd pay him to be my boyfriend. Yeah, let's pay him together. We can share him.
So, when Maya joined us last year, we didn't want to hang out with her because she didn't have much money. But now you're all excited about a guy just because he's good looking?
Oh my God, why are you so obsessed with this Maya girl? Listen, Sophie, let's hire some private investigator to find this Maya for our friend, and she can just shut up about it.
Ha, you're hilarious. But seriously, just leave Jake out of your games.
Wait, how do you know his name?
I overheard a teacher say it, but really, just leave him be.
You know, Hope, since you're so insistent, now I really want to talk to him. Let's go, Sophie.
Great, just what I needed. They went to him and said,
Hey there, Jake. You're new here, right? Yeah, we thought you looked interesting. Want to hang out with us?
Jake seemed to be taken aback, but agreed to chat with them. For the next few days, Kendra and Sophie became interested in Jake. They wanted him to be their friend, but they had a different plan in mind. They offered him money to run errands and do things for them. I tried to warn Jake that he was worth more than being used like that, but he didn't listen. He said,
If you want me to stop helping them, you'll have to tell them that we're friends.
I didn't know what to say to that. I wasn't ready to ruin my image by having a poor friend, especially because Kendra and Sophie wouldn't stop laughing at me.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
With those words, Jake distanced himself from me and grew closer to Kendra and Sophie. They started giving him more money, and he became somewhat distant. I missed my friend. Then one day, I saw Jake holding their coats and acting like a servant. I'd had enough. I approached him and dragged him aside. Why are you acting like this? Don't you have any dignity? You want money? Fine, I'll give you money. Just stop hanging out with them.
Well, I don't mind helping the prettiest and most popular girls in school. Everyone now respects me and thinks I'm cool. And also, I don't know why, but you act like you're better than them.
Well, I am.
You'd rather see them treating me like this than standing up for your friend because you're too ashamed to have someone like me as a friend. How does that make you you better than them? At least they're nice to their parents, while you're rude to your mom and take advantage of your sweet dad. You never show him any love.
Tears welled up in my eyes, but I couldn't speak, so I just stormed off. To make things worse, that night, my mom came to my room and said,
Hey, Hope, I wanted to let you know that I decided to divorce your dad. I've packed my things and I'm leaving in the morning. I came to ask if you wanted to come and live with me, although I already know what you'll say.
yeah, since you already know, please leave and close the door behind you. Mom left, and I buried my head in the pillow, letting out a frustrated scream. But I refused to let my tears fall. I took a deep breath and decided I was gonna take matters into my own hands. Tomorrow, I was gonna teach all these jerks a lesson. The moment I saw Jake the next morning, I said, I'm gonna ask my dad to stop paying for your school if you don't stop hanging out with Kendra and Sophie. How about that?
Yeah, cool. I'll ask Kendra and Sophie to help. They'd love to. Now please go away. I have some things to do.
Yeah, like licking Kendra's shoes, for example. Suddenly, Jake looked at me with angry eyes and a stern expression. He held my shoulders and pushed me back slightly.
Listen, Hope, you need to understand that you're acting like a bully. Even if you don't see it, threatening your friend to do things that only benefit you is selfish and wrong. I appreciate everything you've done for me, but for now, please don't talk to me. Whenever you see me, just look the other way. I hope you have a good life, Hope.
And with that, he walked away. I stood there in shock, then rushed to the bathroom to let out my feelings. When I got there, I found Kendra and Sophie laughing and chatting. In a moment of frustration, I said, Listen, you two, you need to stop treating Jake like he's here to do your commands.
Whoa, calm down, girl. We don't treat him like that at all. He's just a nice guy who offers to help.
But you pay him.
Yeah, so what? If you have a friend who has less money than you and could use some help, why not?
Oh, come on. We all know you're not exactly the nicest people.
Yeah, we're not denying that, but at least we're not ashamed to be seen with a less fortunate friend in public, unlike you.
How did you even know that Jake was my friend?
Well, it's pretty obvious that you care about Jake. We even think you have a crush on him. Yeah, just be nice to the person you like. I know it can be hard for you, but look at us. We can do it.
If being nice to a friend means treating them like a servant, then I'll pass on that kind of advice from people like you. With that, I left the bathroom. Weeks passed, and I stopped talking to Jake, Kendra, Sophie, and my mom. Although Mom hadn't stopped messaging me and inviting me to her house, I ignored her. One day, I woke up super sick and couldn't go to school for 4 days. No one asked about me or missed me. I felt very sad and vulnerable. I didn't know what to do, but I knew I had to talk to someone, and I knew exactly who that someone would be. I went to Miss Albert's house. She looked surprised to see me. I told her everything. I don't get it. I wanted to be kind. I helped a person in need, but they chose to be with someone mean, and when I tried to warn them, they told me to buzz off. And now the mean people are the ones who are giving me advice to be a kind person. How exactly did that happen?
Honey, you helped a person in need, and it's a good thing. But you want to help them on your own terms only, and this isn't how kindness works. Sometimes you have to go out of your way to help others.
True. It basically implied that I was ashamed of Jake, and now he chose to be with some mean girls.
Remember that there's goodness in everyone, even if you think they aren't nice. We're human beings. We have goodness and evilness, and the best of us are the ones who can control their evilness when it's most called for.
I hugged Miss Albert tightly and left. The next morning, I entered the classroom and excused my teacher to say something. I just want to say, I'm sorry to Jake. He's a good guy, and I'm honored to be his friend. The whole class fell silent, surprised by my confession. Jake smiled warmly at me, and I could see the relief in his eyes.
Your mom's been texting me and asking me about you. She doesn't know we weren't talking, obviously. Want to go to her place after school? I'd love to go with you.
I smiled and nodded my head.